Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to go over all of the abilities that make up the wizard, the primary attacks, the cooldowns, the channeling, the damage, the combos, and we're going to go just like read through all the abilities so you have full knowledge of the arsenal of the wizard if you are thinking about diving into play this class on the launch of Diablo Immortal. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first up, we've got the Wizard, which is a living conduit of arcane power, manipulating arcane forces to strike from a distance, disintegrating their enemies to oblivion. So we're going to have a couple primary attacks with the Wizard, just like all of the other classes, and the one that unlocks as default at level 1 right out the gate is going to be Magic Missile, which strikes an enemy for damage and gain hardened. Launch a missile of magic energy dealing damage. Now, the ultimate version of this is going to be Ice Missile, which is going to enhance Magic Missile with Frost for 12 seconds, increasing its damage and slowing the movement of enemies. The next primary attack ability is going to be Electrocute, that unlocks at level 34. Is going to be an Arc Lightning from your fingertips, dealing damage to the first enemy struck, then leaping to 3 additional enemies for 30% damage. And the enhanced version ultimate of this is going to increase damage per hit, allowing movement while attacking, which is huge, and also increasing the number of secondary targets that it will jump to. Now, when it comes to which primary attack is going to be more common, I think it will be Magic Missile slightly, just because the main duty of a wizard is to crank out damage, and I do think Magic Missile will hit a lot harder, but we're going to get a nice little blend of the Electrocute. Like if you're playing solo and you're trying to clear a bunch of trash mobs, you have to kill everything on the screen, Electrocute may be the route to go. It's just going to depend on what build you are going for, but I do anticipate Magic Missile to be a little bit more common for the wizard. Then as we dive into the cooldown abilities, we have got Arcane Torrent, which is going to be a damage channeling skill, and I'm not able to get a ton of information on the skill as of right now, but it's going to be channeling a barrage of arcane projectiles where each one is dealing damage to enemies in the area, and it's going to be one of those mechanics that we see in Diablo Immortal where while you're using it, it is going to consume energy, and then when it's not in use, you are going to recover energy that you can use for channeling that skill. Next is Arcane Wind, which is going to be a damage and charging ability, which that means that you can like hold your finger on it to charge it up and then unleash it, so you can kind of control how impactful the skill is at the sacrifice of investing time into charging it up. So it's going to be a cooldown of 9 seconds. This also unlocks right out the gate at level 1. We're going to unleash a blast of wind in a direction that we choose, dealing damage and knocking back enemies. Charging longer is going to increase the damage, range, and the distance they are knocked back. 50% increase damage to burning enemies, so it's going to have a little bit of combo. And you have to be careful with these abilities that you kind of ramp up and charge, because it lowers your mobility, it lowers the flow, but can be impactful when you use it the right way and you have the time to kind of pull it off. And what would a wizard be without the black hole control ability? I anticipate this to be very common for the wizard. It's not unlocking until level 38 though, and it is going to have a cooldown of 20 seconds. We're going to conjure a black hole for 3 seconds at a location, which will pull enemies in and deal damage to them over 3 seconds. It's going to be great for grouping up large areas of mobs and unleashing combo abilities that not only the wizard has, but also your ally is going to be able to take advantage of by grouping things up and then slamming them down. Then for Disintegrate, this is going to be another channeling skill that does damage, unlocking at level 29, and you're going to kind of stand there and channel a beam of energy in a direction, and then anything in that beam, like in between your hand and the end of the beam, is going to take damage slowly, increasing damage by 2% per 1.5 seconds and stacking up to 5% on that. So the longer you're able to kind of stand there and channel on one thing, it's going to ramp up and do more and more damage. Going to be a little bit rough for solo, maybe because you have to kind of stop and just stand still, and maybe you won't have an ally to keep things off of you while you're channeling like that. But anytime you're in like a boss fight where you've got your crusader or your barb or whatever up in the front line and you're buffing you or whatever, and you can just kind of stand in the back and channel this, and this could be really good for like a boss fight type of scenario to burst something down. Then we get to our first buff for the wizard, which is going to be Ice Armor, unlocking at level 44 with a cooldown of 20 seconds, surrounding yourself in ice for 8 seconds that absorbs damage, and then when it expires, it's going to shatter for damage and apply a 40% chill for 4 seconds. Can also be reactive to shatter instantly. Now, from what we know so far, when it kind of shatters, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. Probably going to be mostly a PvP ability to grant you some toughness to make you survive a little bit longer, because the wizard is kind of a damage dealer that is probably going to be a little bit squishy in more situations than not. Then we have a control ability in Ice Crystal that unlocks at level 24 with a cooldown of 30 seconds. conjure a giant ice crystal at a nearby location, where it will deal damage and inflict a 30% chill over 12 seconds, and then afterwards it will shatter for damage, and another 80% chill for 4 seconds. Can be reactive to shatter instantly if you would like. So seems to do a pretty good damage. It can maybe have some cool combos, like you drop an ice crystal, then you stand there and do your disintegrate or something. The wizard kind of plays like that with different things that synergize and combo, but could be a little bit rough to get consistent value if it has a huge cooldown, like we see there with the 30 seconds. Lightning Nova, a damage ability unlocking early at level 3. It's going to hurl 10 balls of lightning in all directions, dealing damage as they pass outward, limiting 6 hits per target. After 2 hits, they only deal 30% damage. So Lightning Nova can be used as a movement ability given the right legendaries, and you can teleport right on top of people to maximize damage and make those connect a lot faster. Then we get to Meteor, and I think this is going to be an insanely common ability for the wizard, and you're going to see this in a lot of different builds. So it's going to unlock at level 41, summon an immense meteor that plummets from the sky, dealing damage and stunning all enemies in the area for 3 seconds. The ground becomes scorched, damaging enemies over 6 seconds. Now, Meteor is going to be incredible for kind of picking an area and then just dropping destruction on that. So if you get like a monk or a crusader or something grouping things up, you drop a black hole, you drop a meteor, and everything there is going to evaporate. So this can also combo with other allies and other abilities as well, with the given mechanics of the meteor and the burning. Ray of Frost is going to be a channeling control build, unlocking at level 8, and we're going to channel a beam of frost, continually dealing damage to all enemies and inflicting a 12% chill for 1.5 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. It's going to be another mechanic where you use it, you consume energy, and then when you're not, it's going to recover energy that is in use. So just keep in mind, with these channeling skills, you're going to be immobile, so you're really going to have to kind of pick and choose when you're able to stand still and take advantage of that. So you'll have to also kind of choose maybe between Ray of Frost and Disintegrate, and pick which one is going to make more sense for your channel ability within your build. Scorch is a damage ability that unlocks right out the gate at level 1. And what wizard wouldn't have a fireball to throw out? We're going to launch a flaming orb that deals damage and knocks enemies away, leaving a burning trail for 6 seconds. Can do pretty decent damage and can be increased with different legendaries in the game. It's your standard fireball damage ability here for the wizard. Then another control ability in slow time that unlocks at level 50 with a cooldown of 18 seconds, invoking a bubble of warped time and space for 6.6 seconds. This is going to reduce attack and movement of enemies by 50% and slow enemy projectiles by 80%. So you're fighting like a clump of enemy skeleton archers. You drop slow time, the slow time bubble around them, and now their arrows are going to be slowed when they fire them, so you can more easily dodge things that are coming at you. And last but certainly not least, what wizard would be complete without the teleport ability, unlocking at level 18 with a 15-second cooldown? We're going to teleport forward, and we have 3 charges, so you can go kind of zip, 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 and teleport around before you have to let those charges recover. And every wizard is probably going to be using teleport. It is a staple in the wizard repertoire to be mobile and get around the map and get away from things in PvP, and when you're solo, moving around and clearing things faster. So teleport going to be exceedingly common. So hopefully that was able to give you a look at the wizard and what they are going to have in their arsenal. A lot of people are thinking that the wizard, maybe isn't going to be one of the more popular classes on launch. I do recommend trying to have friends that you know and people you play with that have access to every class, because we are going to need to test everything. And obviously Blizzard is going to keep an eye on things and balance things. So even if you do hear within the community like, oh, people don't seem that excited about wizard, wizard is going to do some cool things, have lots of synergy, have really cool abilities, be able to scorch the ground and combo things with Meteor, be pretty good in PvP with the teleporting and getting around and some of the CC. So do not be scared to play wizard, despite maybe hearing in the community that it is maybe one of the lesser picked classes, because there are some fun things in the arsenal here for wizard. And as always, let me know what you think down below, and the drill. Subscribe on the way out, and the Discord is down below if you need a team to play with or people to hang out with and participate with everything surrounding Diablo Immortal as we head into launch. So that's going to do it for me on this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.